Hello everyone, am I audible to you? Can you confirm through the chat window? Please do confirm through the chat window if you can hear me properly. Okay, thank you for the confirmation. So let's get started with the agenda for the today class. So agenda for the today session is I'm just going to discuss about .NET platform and what are the new things has been introduced in .NET 5. So it is a more theoretical class. I will try to explain the concept itself of some example as well so that you'll be able to understand what are the new things has been introduced with the .NET 5 and how you can now adopt the .NET 5 for building your upcoming web application, mobile application and other type of application over there. So my name is Shalin Chauhan. I am Microsoft MVP, technical consultant and corporate trainer. So let's get started with the agenda of this today class. So today first I will tell you about the history of the .NET platform. Then we talk about the .NET framework and the .NET core. Then I will tell you here what is the .NET standard library and what is .NET 5, one .NET vision. Then I will tell you here what are the new version are available in ASP.NET core. What are the new features has been introduced in .NET 5 for the ASP.NET core and web API. Then I will tell you about what are the new things has been introduced in Blazor and what is the Microsoft project I for building the microservices. What are the new things has been introduced in Xamarin Forms 5. And finally, I will tell you about the machine learning, which you can do using the ML.NET. So what is ML.NET? So this is the agenda of this today class. If you will have any query, you can ask me through the chat window. I will try to answer the things. So if you have anything regarding the .NET 5, please do ask through the chat window. I will reply. So let's get started with the history of the .NET platform. So guys, you already know the .NET 1.0 has been introduced in 2002. Very few people know about the Mono. So Mono is actually a version of the .NET framework which can run apart from the Windows operating system. Because initially when the .NET was introduced, it run only on Windows machine. When it comes to the .NET core that is 1.0, so the .NET core 1.0 you can run on Windows, Linux and Mac as well. So .NET core is a cross-platform version of the .NET which you can run on all the three most popular platform, Windows, Mac and Linux. And the latest version of .NET is here now, .NET 5, which has been released in November itself, like this month. On 10th of November, .NET 5.0 has been released. And every year, Microsoft had decided they will introduce a new version of .NET. So next year, somewhere around in November, they will release the .NET 6 as well. Same way next year, like in 2022, you will have the .NET 7, .NET 8, .NET 9. So every year you will have a new version of .NET. So this is the way how the .NET uh, releases you will get in future as well. And so far we having till .NET 5. Yeah, Hasmukh, please hold on. I will tell you about what is the .NET 5 over there. So let's first discuss about the .NET, then I will tell you about the .NET core so that you having a brief understanding about the .NET 5. So guys, you already know we having the .NET framework, which you can use for building the web application, services, even mobile application you can also build. But the .NET framework we can run only on Windows machine. So if you will look at the later version of .NET framework, that is .NET 4.8. So the latest release of .NET Framework is 4.8. So when you're building the ASP.NET MVC5 application, ASP.NET Web Form, WCF, and WPF, if you are targeting the .NET Framework 4.x, we are using the traditional .NET Framework for building your application. And if you will look at in the previous slide as well, where I mentioned like .NET Core already in the market from 2016. So starting from .NET Core, we having a way like now we don't need only Windows machine. Now we can start building our .NET based application using Windows, Linux, and Mac as well. Even whatever the application you will prepare, finally that can be deployed on Windows server as well as on the Linux server. Even .NET Core having a container support as well. And .NET Core is a different implementation of the .NET which they made as cross-platform. Even it having a very good support for the microservices architecture, and it is in fact optimized for the high performance and scalability. So if you will look at the .NET Framework and .NET Core difference, you will find out .NET Framework was limited to the Windows operating system, but .NET Core you can use everywhere because majorly we use three platform: Windows, Linux, and Mac. So everywhere .NET Core can run. So now you don't need to have only Windows machine for building your .NET based application. Using your Mac machine also, using your Linux machine also, the .NET Core based application you can build. So latest version of .NET Core is here, 3.1. Even if you will look at the .NET 5, so .NET 5 is also the .NET Core next version. But they are not saying its name as .NET Core because they don't want to put you in the confusion always, because what the things they are now just going to start. Before understanding the .NET 5, let's have a look at the .NET standard library. I hope you heard about the .NET standard library as well. Like you might having a question like how we can share the code across these three different implementation of .NET. Because we having a .NET framework for building the .NET based application, we having the .NET Core for building the .NET Core based application, we having the Xamarin for building the cross-platform mobile application. So do we have any way like how we can share the code? So .NET Standard is a library which we use before the .NET 5 for sharing the code across these three different implementation of .NET. But starting from the .NET 5, you don't need to use .NET Standard library. If you still want to use, you can use it. They still supporting the .NET Standard library. But now they came with a new thing like one .NET vision. Like instead of continuation of these three different implementation of .NET, now you will have a single SDK. You will have a single base class library. Even you will have a unified tool chain for building your .NET base application. So instead of having the .NET framework, .NET Core, let's say Mono, now we having only .NET. So .NET 5 is actually unified version of the existing .NET implementation we already having. So now you don't need to worry about the .NET standard library. You don't need to uh, continue with the .NET framework for building the traditional uh, application element. If you are going to use, let's say WPF, let's say if you're willing to build the Windows application, there is still we having the .NET framework support. Now the .NET Core also supporting the WPF, .NET Core also supporting the Windows Form application element as well over there. Even now the Mono Xamarin, where we use Xamarin actually for building the cross-platform mobile application, that is also now the .NET 5. So instead of targeting these three different implementation of .NET, you have to use only one SDK for building cross-platform native UI, the cross-platform web UI, cloud native investment, and constantly they will work on the speed so that they properly improve the speed of the upcoming version of .NET. They also work on the size so that they can minimize the size also. Even what are the new things they introduce in the Azure, there you will find out a very good support for the upcoming .NET releases. So this is the .NET 5 over there. Here they having the LTS as well, but the LTS they have decided for the even number. So when they having the even release of the .NET, let's say .NET 6, .NET 8, .NET 10, for the even release they will offer the LTS. For the old releases, there is no LTS support. So .NET 5 is not a part of the LTS. .NET 6 would be the part of the LTS. Simple. Here guys, you can get started with the .NET 5 for building your production ready application. Even already the .NET core is well established. So many people are using the .NET core for building their web application, their desktop application as well. So .NET 5 is fine for building your enterprise grade application. So do you have any query regarding this slide? So ultimately, instead of having the three different class library, now we having only one class library for building all the type of application. This is the idea behind the .NET 5. Same way you will have the .NET 6, .NET 7 and .NET 8 as well. So if you will look at the .NET 5, so .NET 5 is a unified platform for building all the type of application. Whether it is a desktop application, whether it's a web application, cloud application, mobile application, IoT, AI, gaming, all the type of application can be done. Well, Paul, when we talking about LTS, LTS stand for long-term support. So in case of LTS, let's say the .NET Core 3.1 is a LTS release. So they will constantly provide the patches based upon the feedback of the community, based upon the things. But for the .NET 5, it is not a LTS release, so you will not find out the patches. But in the .NET 6, you will find out the patches. So they will support that particular version for a long term. Let's say 10 years. It depends upon what are the time span, what are the time span and duration they having over there. Yeah, I know when we talking about the Xamarin, now the Xamarin Forms will also target the .NET 5. It is not now using the mono, because before the .NET 5, the Xamarin used the mono as a runtime environment. Now it will use the .NET 5. Similar way we having for IoT based application as well. We having for the WPF and the UWP application as well. So now there is a one framework that is .NET. That's why they are not going to continue with the name .NET Core. So just think about .NET 5 is just next version of .NET Core. So instead of releasing the .NET Core 4.0, they just releasing the .NET 5 because .NET Framework 4.x is already there. So they don't want to put the people in confusion whether we are using our .NET Core 4.0, whether we are using .NET Framework 4.0, and they don't want to continue with they don't want to continue with the word core. So that's why they just remove the things core. Now they are saying .NET 5. So .NET 5 is just nothing. It is just .NET Core 3.1 next release, where they added the support for mobile application element. They have added the support for other type of application as well. It's fine. Do you have any other query? If you have, please do ask. Okay, now let me clear here the things like how the .NET standard you will find out in your Visual Studio. So if you will open your Visual Studio, I already updated my Visual Studio to the latest version. Here I'm just showing you the way how you can differentiate the different types of library over there. So if you will look at here, if you will search for the library here in my Visual Studio. Okay. So if you will look at here, I'm having a class library for the .NET standard. So .NET standard I already explained to you here. Let's say if you are having your old application, but the new application element you are willing to do using the .NET Core. So there, what you can do for sharing the code with the existing .NET Framework 4.x base application and your .NET Core base application, you can create a .NET Standard library where you can keep your model classes, where you can keep your business logic, like any other library. It's up to you. Even if you will look at, we having a class library using .NET Framework as well. So .NET Framework means it is .NET Framework 4.x. Then we having a class library using .NET Core as well. So you can see. So we having here three types of library: .NET Core, .NET Framework, and .NET Standard. So now instead of having these three different library, now starting from .NET 5, you have to just go ahead with this .NET Core class library, where .NET 5 you need to target, and the same library now can be used with your desktop application element, with your mobile application element, and with your web application element as well. You don't need to go ahead with the .NET Standard now. Yeah, .NET Standard, they will continue. Even they are supporting .NET 5 as well. But you will not get now any new release for the .NET Standard. And Taxine, if you are willing to migrate your existing .NET Core 3.1 application to .NET 5, it is pretty much simple. Even I will show you in the today class how you can migrate your existing .NET Core 3.1 application to .NET 5. But obviously, if it is on .NET 4.x, so in that case, it's not easy. That take the time. It depends upon what the technologies, what the various things you are using over there. Bijan, the Microsoft is not having any plan to support the WCF in the .NET 5, because as alternative to WCF, they're saying you should use gRPC. So we having a gRPC service which you can use in place of WCF. So they don't have any plan to support the WCF. Anything else? Do you want to ask? Okay. So these are the three types of library which are available, which I explained to you here. Now let me show you here the way you already having a ASP.NET Core web application in 3.1, and how you can upgrade it to the .NET 5. So what I'm doing here, I'm just going to create a ASP.NET Core app, and initially I will target it with 3.1. Later on I will update it to the .NET 5. So this is my desktop code and this is the weekend, and let me click on the create button. Mohammad Dushman, when you are comparing the .NET framework with .NET Standard is, .NET Standard is a library which can be used for code sharing. If you will look at in this picture, if you want to share the code between .NET Framework 4.x base application, between .NET Core base application, or between your Xamarin based application, there we use .NET Standard. So .NET Standard we use for code sharing between the different implementation of .NET. I hope it makes sense now. Your Windows apps, if you have built with the .NET Framework 4.x, you can convert into the .NET 5, because now it is supporting maximum set of features which are now the part of the .NET Framework 4.x. Because in .NET Core 3.1, the so many features are not supported over there. But starting from .NET 5, they added so many new features. Please look at the migration guide of Microsoft if you're willing to migrate your existing Windows application to .NET 5. So this is the one I'm just going to create here, a ASP.NET Core 3.1 application. Let's say we just building a ASP.NET Core MVC application. You can see I'm using here ASP.NET Core 3.1, and let's click it to create. Mangesh, if you are application is based upon the web form. So web form, we cannot migrate to .NET 5 directly because it would be the complete rewrite. But MVC 5 base application can be migrated to the .NET 5 easily because the Razor View Engine things are maximum supported in ASP.NET Core as well. But web forms UI is not supported over there. Even they don't have any plan to support the web form view engine. Simple. So make sure you are having the MVC 5. Web form you cannot migrate. You have to rewrite completely. So if you will look at this application properties, if you will check out, you can see it is targeting here .NET Core 3.1. Let me run the application. It can be your existing .NET Core 3.1 application which you already having. Let me show you how you can migrate to the .NET 5. I'm first testing it whether it's running fine or not in my local machine. Then I will show you how you can upgrade it. So you can see it is working fine in my local machine without any issue. And let's say you might using some entity framework also. This those packages also I'm adding over there so that you can relate more here. I'm just adding here entity framework core. So I'm just going to install here entity framework core 3.1 version because it is a 3.1. And you might be using others NuGet packages as well. Few of the packages I'm adding for your better understanding. So let's say this is my entity framework core. Let me add here for SQL Server as well. That should also target the 3.1. And if you're doing the migration with entity framework core, for migration, obviously you will use the entity framework core tool package so that you can run the migration command over there. So let's say these three packages I have installed, which we usually use when we are using the entity framework core. Now let's say you are willing to migrate this application to .NET 5. So to migrate it, just do one thing, just do right click at the project and just go to the properties over there. And please change the target framework from .NET Core 3.1 to .NET 5 and save it. After changing the target framework, you have to just go to the dependencies option and go to the option here, manage NuGet packages. And in manage NuGet packages, just go to the installed option, sorry, updates. In the update, you will find out your packages just update. You can see the entity framework core 5.0 version is available. Entity framework core SQL Server 5.0 version is also available. Please do select all the packages and click on this update button. It automatically update all the packages from 3.x to 5.0. Simple. So if you will look at here now, everything has been updated to .NET 5. Let me save it. And now let's build the application to verify everything is working fine. It is working fine. If you want to check out the version information as well, you can see at the project label, you can find out we are now using entity framework core 5.0, entity framework core SQL Server also 5.0. All the packages are now updated to the 5.0. So you can easily upgrade your .NET Core 3.1 application to .NET 5 without doing any extra change. Just change the target framework and do update your NuGet packages. It's simple. Now let's run the application. It will start running. You can see my application is working fine without any issue. So we have done the successful migration of our existing .NET Core 3.1 application to the 5.0. Yeah, well, Paul, you can upgrade your 2.1 application as well if it is based upon the .NET Core. Similar way, you can upgrade there. But in .NET Core, few changes you need to do in the startup class, because in the .NET Core through 2.1, the way of defining the roots is different. So this change you need to do here if it is a 2.1 application. Anu, here when we talking about the .NET 6, don't wait for the .NET 6 because .NET 5 is already production ready. You can build all the type of application over there. Don't think .NET 5 is a new framework. It is just a next version of .NET Core 3.1. So already people are using .NET Core 3.1 for building the web UI, for building the web API. So it is fine to go ahead with the .NET 5. Shailesh, if you are willing to take the benefit of the performance of .NET Core, so the companies obviously need to ready to rewrite the existing .NET framework 4.x based application if they need the performance. There we don't have the support of WCF in .NET 5. Sorry for that. Even they don't have any plan. Bijendra, if you are having the .NET framework 3.5 or 2.2 application, those application you can only migrate to the 4. .NET framework 4.8 easily. If you are thinking to migrate to .NET 5, you need to first understand what technology you are using. If you are using over there web form, so web form is not supported in the .NET Core, even not in .NET 5. So the migration is not possible. You have to rewrite your complete application over there. But if it is a WPF application, if it is a, let's say, Windows application, that migration can be done easily. Even if it is a MVC5 application, that can also be migrated easily. Chintan, the web form you cannot migrate to .NET 5. Sorry for that. You have to rewrite the code, because web form follow the code behind model for building the things. We don't have any style which we follow in MVC5. MVC5 you can easily migrate. If you want to migrate the MVC5, you have to do one thing here. One sample demo I can show you here. Let's say just do one thing. Let's say you having a MVC5 application. So what I'm doing here, I'm just going to create a MVC5 application. It is a very basic project, so it will not take time for me. But in your case, I'm sure it will take time. So just find out the various dependencies you are using in your application, like third-party library. Based upon that, you can decide how much time your application will take. So this is my web app MVC5 application. Let's do one thing. It is my MVC5 application. And I'm targeting here, let's say .NET framework. You can see I'm having a .NET framework version 4.5 or like 4.7, any version you can target. And this is my MVC template I'm using over here. So this is my basic project, so I can easily migrate it to the .NET 5. But in your case, you might be using so many third-party dependencies, so many third-party libraries. Please make a list of those dependencies and find out the alternative libraries are like alternative option .NET Core. Based upon that, you can take the decision. But a very simple example I can show you. So this is my MVC5 application where you can check it out. The target framework is here 4.7, .NET framework 4.7. How it can be migrated to the .NET 5? For this one, just create a separate new project. I'm just creating a separate new project using the ASP.NET Core web application. So define here, let's say ASP.NET Core. And this one I'm targeting here using the ASP.NET Core 5. It is MVC. So previously also we created the MVC5 application, and here also we are creating the ASP.NET Core MVC application. So what you can do here now, so what are the things you have done in your controller label? You have to just do copy and paste over there. You can copy your controller things from your MVC5 application to your ASP.NET Core this way. So everything you need to copy like this way. And whatever the UI you are having, so let's say we having these UIs. So these UI file also you can copy. Let me explore the folder, copy the CSHTML file and put it here. You have to follow this practice. Yes. And when you will do copy and paste over there, I'm sure if you are using any control, any library which is not supported in .NET Core, it will not work. Let's say if you are using the web grid, so web grid alternative is not available in .NET Core. So web grid we cannot use here in .NET Core. I need to change the web grid into the either into the table based listing, either we having a X page list. There is a package you can use over there. So you need to copy the things one by one on whatever the routes you have defined over there. So there's a route config file where we having the routes. So here in startup class, you need to change the route over there. Just define the similar type of route over there. So there is a one endpoint we added. If you are having multiple endpoint, just add one other endpoint as well. And do mention the pattern, whatever you have used over there. So this way, you have to just do copy and paste and just define the route as well and define the things over there this way. So it is a time consuming process, not easy as it was in case of .NET Core 3.1. And what are the settings you have defined in web.config file? Let's say database connection is string, your apps, your app settings. So all these things need to move from MVC5 to this app setting.json. So database connections thing I will define over here. Even whatever I have defined here in app setting key, those also need to define over there. So this is the way how you can migrate your existing MVC5 application to .NET 5. But it is a time consuming task. It's not easy. Okay, let me pick up the few question over here. Yeah, Romil, you can migrate your .NET Core 3.1 application to .NET 5 easily without any struggle. It is very simple over there. C# 9 features. Let me share here. There is not so much feature they introduce in the C# 9. A main feature they introduce over there, record type. There is a record type they introduce over there. Romil, I didn't check the identity server compatibility with the .NET 5. Oh, I need to check it here simply. Yeah, well, Paul, when we talking about .NET Framework 4.x based application, you have to do copy and paste. We don't have any, the tool, any way to migrate it directly from the Visual Studio. But if it is a .NET Core 2.s application, let's say .NET Core 3.1 application, that can be migrated easily using only Visual Studio. Just change the target framework and all the things over there. Okay, the main difference between .NET Core 3.1, 5.0, let me tell you over here. The main difference is here about the performance. In .NET 5, they improved the performance again. Already .NET Core 3.1 also doing the well, but in 5.0 also they added the performance improvement also. Now let me show you here what are the new features has been introduced in .NET in ASP.NET Core and Web API with .NET 5. So in ASP.NET Core, they added the support for the C# 9 record type. In C# 9, they introduced a one more type, that is record type. That support they added into the model binding. Now if you are sending the date time in the UTC, So the model binding, it will take now UTC. And in ASP.NET Core Web API, they added the support for the Open API specification by default. So in 3.1, even in 2.x, we need to uh, add the Swagger support separately with the help of NuGet packages. But starting from the .NET 5, now the Swagger they added for the API element so that you can easily uh, create the documentation for your REST APIs. Even you can test it using the browser itself. Now you don't need to use the Postman. You don't need to use the REST API client separately for testing your APIs. So this is the major benefit you will find out in .NET 5 if you are building your web API over there. Simple. Simon, I already told you here the major advantage of .NET 5. It depends upon with respect to your comparing. If you are comparing it with .NET framework, the major impact is here of performance, and it is cross-platform as well. But if you are comparing it with .NET Core 3.1, so from .NET Core 3.1 also they improve the performance. So when we are using the JSON serialization and deserialization, there they improve the performance a lot. Another benefit of .NET 5 you will find out now there is a single class library for building all the type of application, whether it's a web application, whether it's a desktop application, whether it's a mobile application. Simple. So now let's have a look what are the new things they introduced in Blazor in .NET 5. So with Blazor they added so many new features because Blazor is a new technologies, a very new technology the people are using for building the web application. So initially when the Blazor Microsoft introduced, they supporting it only on server side. Now starting from .NET 5, they supporting it on client side as well using the WebAssembly. I hope you heard about the WebAssembly. So now WebAssembly we are using across the world for building, or you can say for running your .NET based application in browser itself. So instead of using the JavaScript library like Angular or like React.js, because these are the client side technologies. Now Blazor you can also use on the client side as well as server side. So whatever the syntax you write in case of your Razor View engine, whatever the C# style you follow, similar style you can follow with the Blazor as well for building a full stack .NET application as you build using the Angular, as you build using the React.js. So this is the thing you will find out over there. Blazor is still using the Razor syntax. So Razor is a view engine. Blazor is a technologies which is using the Razor syntax over there. So Blazor people are using for running your .NET based application in browser itself with the help of WebAssembly. So now you don't need to learn the Angular and the React.js if you are willing to render the things on the client side, if you are willing to build a single page application, because before the Blazor in .NET we don't have any way to build the single page application. So with the help of Blazor we can build the single page application using the Razor syntax using your C# style. So it is an alternative to Angular and React.js. Simple. Sina, when we talking about the Blazor, so Blazor server is just going to be executed on the server side only. Blazor WebAssembly having some drawback. Some drawbacks are here. Let's say it is not supported in the older version of browser. Blazor WebAssembly only supported on the latest browser. If you are having any constraint, let's say your customer is still using the Internet Explorer, they're still using the older uh, IE version, so their Blazor will not work. For Blazor, they need the Microsoft Edge, they need the Chrome, they need the Firefox, a latest version. Their Blazor can be used for building the single page application. And I'm sure within few years, everywhere the Microsoft Edge browser will be used in place of Internet Explorer. So you will not find out an issue over there. Yeah, Blazor is now enterprise, and the Blazor WebAssembly is enterprise ready. You can build enterprise grade application over there. Even the Telerik, even we having the various uh, control building companies, they also offering the very good support to the Blazor. Yeah, now using this Blazor, you can build your client side application. You can say single page application using C Sharp and Razor. This is the thing. So many improvement they added to the Blazor. So Blazor is a very good thing. You will find out in .NET 5 if you are willing to build a single page application. So for single page application, Blazor you can use. There is a one more thing they added with the .NET 5, that is project tie. So nowadays what is happening, people are using the microservices architecture for building their application. So when it's come to the microservices development, so we use the Docker, we use Kubernetes, but managing the Kubernetes cluster is not easy. It is a tedious task. We need to manage so many configuration over there. So Microsoft started a experimental project. Still, it's not production ready. So TIE is a project which will simplify the microservices development. Now you can easily build, debug, and deploy your microservices as compared to the your Kubernetes style, whatever you are following right now. So this is the one you can use over there. So if you already learning the microservices based application development using the Docker and the Kubernetes, I'm sure you are facing such issues. But after the project TIE, you can build it easily. So for the development, for the developer perspective, project TIE is a very good tool which will simplify the microservices development using the Kubernetes. This is the one you will find out. Yeah, Anu, I'm not saying here Blazor is replacing the Angular and the React.js, because Angular and React people are using from so many years. Blazor is a new over there. Even Blazor having a dependency on WebAssembly, and WebAssembly is not supported in the older version of browser. Even if you look at over the internet, we don't have very good support on Blazor. Still, it is a very new. So right now, I cannot say like Blazor would be the good option, but in future, obviously, it is a very good technology. So right now, go ahead with Angular and the React.js, whatever you are having. But for future purpose, it's fine. And starting from .NET 6, they are going to add so many new features to Blazor as well, because they are just going to change the mobile application development as well. So I think Blazor will take a few more years to be mature for building the single page application, or like say to adopt it by the people across the world over there. Yeah, Hariharan, the Blazor right now not supporting the mobile app, but they started experiment with the Blazor, which I hope you will get with the .NET 6. But I'm not in favor of to use the Blazor for building the cross-platform native mobile application, where Xamarin is very good. Again, Blazor would be the new things. If it is a basic application, so hybrid application you can build using the Blazor. So Blazor would be for building the hybrid mobile application, not the native mobile application. For the native, you have to use only Xamarin. Chandrasekhar, I don't have actually set up for the mobile application development. So we will try to manage a webinar with our other mentor that is having the expertise in the Xamarin form. So that will show you the way how we can build a cross-platform mobile application using .NET 5. Even still Xamarin Forms 5.0 is not released. We are waiting for that. I hope somewhere around the in the December first week you will have the Xamarin Forms 5.0. Still Xamarin Forms is in preview. Yeah, Blazor example I can show you here over there. So this is for microservices dilemma. Now let me share here what are the new things they added for the desktop. If people are using the Windows application, which you might be built using the .NET Framework 4.x. So these are the new set of features you will find out in .NET form. So now they adding the complete development experience in .NET 5 also, as we having in .NET Framework 4.x. Because this is a feedback of the community, like in .NET Core 3.1, they don't have the rich development experience. So starting from .NET 5, you will have the rich development experience for desktop application as well. Even now you will have the self-contained single file exe as well, and you will have the best performance as well with the .NET 5 if you're willing to migrate your existing desktop based application. So these are the new things they introduce with .NET 5 for the Windows developer simply. Yes, Ina, with the Blazor you have to use signal R. That's why I'm saying here, don't start using the Blazor now, starting from if you are already using the Angular and the React.js, because those are well tested framework. So I'm not in favor of to migrate your existing Angular and the React based application to Blazor. Please wait till .NET 6 so that they make it more mature. They add the more things over there so that you will not face some issues. Simple. Okay. You are having a project in this .NET 3.5. So that project you cannot upgrade to .NET 5. Sorry for that. You have to rewrite it from scratch. For using the .NET 5, you need to install the Visual Studio 2019 latest release, that is 16.8. So 16.8 you have to use over there for doing the things. Yeah, Project I is a very good framework for building the microservices over there. So now let me show you here quickly what are the new features they added with the Xamarin Forms 5. So with the Xamarin Forms 5, you will have the beautiful design, brushes, shapes and paths. Now you'll be having the hot reload 2.0. So what are the changes you will do in the UI? It automatically update the things in the your simulator, in the emulator as well. You don't need to restart the application. Even in Xamarin Form in Visual Studio, they improved the XAML support a lot. So these are the new set of features they introduced with the Xamarin Forms 5. So we don't have so many things with Xamarin Forms 5. Already we having the Xamarin Forms 4.x over there. These things also there, but they made it better in Xamarin Forms 5. Simple. Now let me show you here what are the new features they introduced with the Entity Framework Core 5. And Entity Framework Core 5, so many new features was pending, because if you're already using the Entity Framework 6.x, so in Entity Framework 6.x, we having so many things which was not supported in Entity Framework Core 2.x and the 3.x. So they added somewhere around 80 new features in Entity Framework Core 5. So some of them are just mentioned over there. Let's say many to many relationship mapping they improved now. Table type inheritance they improved now. Now they introduce the index attribute, which was not available in Entity Framework Core, for defining the indexes. If you know about the lazy loading and eager loading, so in the eager loading we use the include method. So that include method, now in that include method actually we can mention the filter condition. This is a new feature they introduced in Entity Framework Core 5. Even we can split the query also, which you are writing for the eager loading. Even they simplify the logging also. And if you're willing to exclude the table from the migration, you can exclude that classes also from the migration. Even what are the script it will generate from the migration that will support the transaction as well. This is a new set of features they introduced with Entity Framework Core 5. Even they added the support for mapping the table valued function. So whatever the table value function you are having in your database. Now that function can be mapped to a C sharp class. Then introduce a new method here, change tracker dot clear, to stop the tracking of all entities. So ultimately, when you are performing the database operation, so entity framework internally track all the changes. If you don't want to track all the changes, by calling the clear method, you can stop the tracking. So that unnecessarily you don't have those entities on which you're not working. Even they improve the support for the Cosmos DB also. So these are the new set of features they introduced for Entity Framework Core 5. Few of them I listed over there. We having others also. Gopal Sharma, right now we don't have any way for building the Windows web and mobile application using a single code base. Microsoft is working on a new framework, MAUI. Using the MAUI, you can build the mobile and desktop application from the single code base. Even they using the Blazor also in that area. So I think it's starting from .NET 6 or .NET 7 using the Blazor, using the single code base. You'll be able to build the Windows web and mobile application, but you have to wait. Okay, let me show you here a Blazor example as well. Then let's come to the machine learning and AI. So what I'm doing here, if the people are new to the Blazor, just create a new project over there. And for Blazor, you can find out, just make a search for Blazor. So you can see I'm having here a Blazor app, which I can select over there and then create it, Blazor app. Now you can find out here in Blazor, we having the Blazor server app, we having the Blazor WebAssembly. So Blazor WebAssembly you can use for building the single page application. If you will target the .NET Core 3.1 also, there you will also find the same thing, a server app and WebAssembly. So let me use a .NET 5 where I'm using the Blazor WebAssembly. And here you can find out here progressive web app. If you're willing to build a progressive web app, PWA, so PWA also you can build over there. Let me click on this Blazor WebAssembly for creating a single page application using the Razor View engine and the C sharp. So if you will look at here, it's having the pages as we having the pages in case of web form. So extension is here dot razor, but syntax wise you will find out it is just Razor View engine syntax. So there we use at the rate code. So this is C sharp code and this is my markup. The same style we use in AngularJS also. We define the HTML markup and there we use script tag where we write our JavaScript. Similar way, this is the on click method where this is the increment count method which we are calling over there and it's going to be executed on the client side itself. So we don't have here any controller, we don't have here now any C sharp class. On the single page we have write everything. So this is the markup and this is the C sharp code. Similarly for fetch data as well, you will find out the same thing. So we are mixing here the markup as well as C sharp code. So this is the C sharp if statement, else statement, this is the for each loop, and this is the logic we have written over there. So this is similar to the AngularJS where using the script tag, we can start writing our Angular code. Even in React.js also we do the same thing. We do the mixing of UI as well as our logic as well. So this is similar to the React.js or you can say AngularJS. In Angular 2 we having the separation of cursor over there. So in Angular 2 we having the separate HTML markup and we having a separate TypeScript file. But if you are using the AngularJS 1.x, there we can mix everything on the single page. Similar way in React.js also we can mix all the things on the single page. Then you will find out there is a shade page for the layout page. So you can see we having here at the red body, we having here nav menu. So this much like looking to you React.js if you having the experience with the React.js. So you will find out the similar style people are using over there. There's a program.cs file to start your WebAssembly based application. Let me start the application to check out how it is working. Actually, progressive web app you can use if you're willing to use as a application. So for PWA, you don't need to open it as a website. In the browser label, you can install it as a app and you can use it by just clicking on that app icon. So you can see it is now coming here. So click over there, and if you look at in the source code, this inspect it. So let me show you here in the source code. So you can find out here what are the various elements are there. So you can find out. So here the things are going to be done on the client side. So they added here the script tag for the .NET 5.0 JS library. They added the things over here. You can see WebAssembly module support they're adding over there. There is a Blazor WebAssembly library they added over there. If you will go to the counter, so here also you will find out the same thing. So everything is a part of the single page. So we don't have any style as we have in, you know, in MVC core. It is just looking like to you do Angular or React application. In Angular and React also we having the a div where we load our application. And here also there is a single div. I don't have the markup as we have in ASP.NET Core. So it's not a server-side rendering, it's a client-side rendering completely. You can look at here. When I'm on the fetch data page, if I will look at on the source code, I'm getting the same markup. And in single page application, you will find out the same thing. So you can see. So how cool is to build the single page application using the Blazor and your C# code. It's simple now. So now here the thing is, this complete page is on the client side. In ASP.NET Core that was on server side. You can see in the source code, it's not on client side. Obviously, from the SEO perspective, this is not the recommended way. Your page should render on the server side. In that case, you can use the Blazor on server side style also. So Blazor you can serve from server side as well. It can be served from the client side as well. I hope now it is clear to you here how the Blazor WebAssembly can be used for building the single page application as we build using the Angular and React.js. Anything else do you want to ask? Okay, now let's proceed to the machine learning. It is a thing you should know also. So when it comes to the machine learning, so people already using the TensorFlow, people already using the PyTorch, Keras, ONX, and we having the Scikit-learn as well, using which we can implement the machine learning. But if you are already a .NET developer, if you need a simplified way to implement the machine learning, Microsoft did a well job over there. Microsoft introduced the ML.NET over there. Microsoft introduced the Azure machine learning and cognitive services through which they simplified the machine learning implementation in your existing .NET based application. So you don't need to learn the TensorFlow and the PyTorch. With the help of the ML.NET, they simplified the integration of machine learning into your existing .NET based application. Nidesh, if you don't know the Angular and the React, you can also learn the Blazor easily. You should have the understanding of Razor View Engine and you should have the understanding of C#. It's simple. Anu, make sure you have updated your Visual Studio with the Visual Studio 2019 16.8 release. There you will have that this thing automatically. I have not installed anything new. Bijendra, Blazor is based upon the WebAssembly, and WebAssembly only supported in the later version of Edge browser, your Chrome browser, and your Firefox. In the older version of browser, a Blazor WebAssembly based application will not run. So in Microsoft, these are the machine learning based technology you can use over there. So when it's come to the ML.NET, so ML.NET is a open source cross-platform machine learning framework for .NET developer, and it is especially written for the .NET developers, so that using your existing C Sharp and F Sharp skill, you can integrate the machine learning into your .NET application. And when guys you are using the ML.NET, it is not mandatory you should have the experience in data science. You should have the experience in TensorFlow and other machine learning framework. The ML.NET, you can think about it is a wrapper around so many existing, or you can say around so many popular TensorFlow library and around the PyTorch library over there. You have to just use it simple without having the understanding of data science and machine learning framework over there. Alok, I already told you here, Blazor is specially designed for building the single page application. Pritesh, I'm not sure about the SAP Crystal report support in .NET 5. I need to check it out. Sorry for that, I don't know. So how the machine learning you can use with the .NET? So whether you are using the Visual Studio 2019, either you can use VS Code as well. Even they added the Jupyter support also. So we having the ML.NET API, and we having the AutoML.NET API as well. So if you are using the Visual Studio 2019, so we having the model builder. Model builder are just equivalent to the wizard we having in MVC core, we having in WPF for quickly creating the application. Similar way we having the model builder. Just with the help of model builder, any machine learning algorithm we can easily train, easily integrate into our application without having the understanding of data science and machine learning various tools like TensorFlow, PyTorch, and any other. Even if you like the .NET CLI way, so you can use .NET CLI also for adding the machine learning into your .NET based application. So if you're willing to get started with the machine learning, so machine learning with the .NET can done these various types of things like classification you can do over there, regression, forecasting, image classification, object detection, some recommendation, clustering, ranking. So these are the ready-made algorithm they added with the ML.NET. So you don't need to worry about to understand how these algorithm behind the scene has been designed. Microsoft just simplified the way to integrate all these uh, machine learning algorithm into your .NET based application. You can easily provide the recommendation of your product. You can actually identify the object if there is a need of object identification, if there is a need of forecasting based upon some uh, calculation, that forecasting can also be done over there. So it's a very simple way to integrate your machine learning into your .NET based application. For machine learning, you should know the C sharp mainly. App sharp, few things you need to know from the app sharp, because what are the function, what are the things you are having. They just design in the app sharp over there. But it is not difficult, it's simple. So these are the things they introduce over there. And with machine learning, ML.NET With .NET 5, they have not added anything new because this set of features already available with .NET Core 3.1 also. And if you are willing to know about the ML.NET more in detail, I request you to follow the official website for ML.NET framework. So just go to here, the ML.NET website. Here you will find out all the models are available. Just use them. And these are the various uh, sentiments analysis, product recommendation. So it's a very useful algorithm which you can implement in your project for product recommendation, price hike prediction, fraud detection. There are so many things are very important. So you can see this is the model builder they just shown here. Just do right click over there, and this is the UI available. So you can see using the UI itself, everything can be done easily. They are training the things. You can see in this video they're just showing the example. It's very simple one. So you don't need to learn the data science. You can see this is object detection. Here you can detect the object. Which one is a man? Which one is a a object? This is the way. So these are because of machine learning. These are the things over there. Even Microsoft also using the machine learning in Outlook. They also using the machine learning in Microsoft Azure as well. So it's a already tested product. You don't need to worry about machine learning. In the Power BI also they're using the thing. These are the few customer you can find out where they are using machine learning. So this is also a better option if you are willing to uh, implement such things. So with the help of ML.NET, such thing can be implemented easily. Yeah, guys, here I have done from my side for today class. So this is about the quick introduction about the .NET platform and the .NET 5. I hope you will find out this session helpful. Even you will now having the more interest to use the .NET 5 for building your upcoming web application, your upcoming mobile application, microservices, and you would be more curious to implement the machine learning as well. There are so many things Microsoft is doing well. You can just use them and build the enterprise grade application easily. Yes, Sina, here it would be easier to migrate to .NET 6 easily. Even if you will see in today's session also, I upgraded my ASP.NET Core 3.1 application easily to .NET 5 without any hurdle. Simple. Same way the .NET 5 base application you can migrate to the .NET 6 easily. Simple. Thank you, Rajesh, for that feedback. So guys, if you have any query, please do ask through the chat window. I'm available for 1 or 2 minutes more. I will answer your queries. And thank you for joining. If you're joining the session first time, I'm requesting you please do subscribe to .NET X YouTube channel so that you will get upcoming session recommendation automatically. Even what are the videos we will upload there, you will get those videos information also. Bijendra, you can go ahead with the Blazor if you already know the .NET Core. You can go ahead over there. But if you're from the JavaScript background, I'm in favor of you should go ahead with the React. React is a well-tested framework. Blazor is new. So you will find out the difficulty of the community support, the help over the internet. React having a very good community support. You will have so many samples ready-made available on the internet. Blazor is a bit new. Yeah, Gopal, you can build the Windows application and desktop app and your web application also using the .NET. Now, thank you, Alok, about the ML.NET feedback. In future, we will have a separate session for each technology. For Blazor, we will have a separate session. For machine learning, we will have a separate session. Today's session was just an overview of the .NET 5, what is new and why you should now start using the .NET 5 for building your next application. So this was the objective for today class. Yes, in a .NET 5 application can be hosted on AWS. In Azure, they already added the support, but in AWS, I'm sure if it is a virtual machine, there you can host easily. But if it is a PaaS-based offering, so there you need to wait. But on the virtual machine, you are having everything in your control. Just download the .NET ASP.NET Core runtime and just configure over there. It's simple. Gopal, from the single code base, you cannot build the desktop, web, and mobile application. Right now, it is not possible. You should have that separate code for web application, separate code for the mobile application, separate for desktop. What few things you can share? Let's say the business logic, your data access logic, but UI should be different. Chintan, I'm not aware of the crystal report support in .NET 5. I need to check out. Sorry for that. Anu, you can learn Blazor. I'm not denying, but I said Blazor having the dependency on WebAssembly, and WebAssembly is only supported in the latest version of browser. If you are fine with to run all the application, the later version of browser, then go ahead with Blazor. Otherwise, you have to go ahead with React and Angular. We don't have any WhatsApp group for that purpose. A .NET 5 application you can host on the Nginx. It is possible. Web forms actually you cannot migrate to .NET 5. You have to rewrite it from scratch. Yeah, Neeraj, for using the .NET 5, make sure you have updated your Visual Studio 2019 with the latest release. If you will look at, I'm showing my Visual Studio version, which I have installed. It is here, Visual Studio 2019 with 16.8. So this is the version you should have. Make sure. Yasina, we will try to have a session, more session about the Blazor in the upcoming webinar. We are planning to have a session on gRPC as well. Don't worry. Soon we will announce a session on gRPC. There you can ask your query related to the gRPC. Okay, guys. Thank you for joining the session. Bye.